Welcome back, viewers, to another repair video on the channel at Bishop's DIY Auto Repair. Today we're going to be going over the easiest way to replace your catalytic converter in your 03 to 07 Honda Accord, as well as how to replace the gaskets in your flex pipe tubing. And if you guys haven't yet, go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you never miss another one of my repair videos again. And also hit that like button because it really helps out the YouTube algorithm. With that out of the way, let's head underneath and take a look at the catalytic converter and how you can drop the exhaust. Alrighty guys, so instead of dealing with these rusty bolts in the catalytic converter that hold it up, one thing that you can do is drop the exhaust. And the only things you have to do there is disconnect the O2 sensor, undo this bolt, and then there's another bolt over here. They're pretty easy. They have the springs, and then there's 3 hangers down there that hang it up, and then the whole thing comes down. And they've got this bolt and this bolt that would have to come undone, and the whole exhaust will drop out, and they can just work on the catalytic converter and get it taken care of. I would recommend just cutting off the bolts. Once you cut off the bolts, everything should just fall right off. So, alrighty guys, now that you know how to drop the exhaust in order to get the cat replaced. So with my catalytic converter, it came with the wrong gasket. I'm supposed to have one of these that connects it to the flex pipe underneath. And then because I had to drop the flex pipe to be able to get the cat out, I had to go and get another gasket just to be on the safe side. You may not even need that one, but better safe than sorry. So let's go ahead and take off that flex pipe, and I'll show you how to do that, which is probably the hardest part of taking off the exhaust. So let's go ahead and do that and replace these gaskets. Alright, so first you want to disconnect the O2 sensor wire, which is right down in here. So it just has a push tab up on top. Go and wiggle it off. See, there it is. It connects right under here, under this line right here. Once that's disconnected, we can go and drop the flex pipe and replace those gaskets. Alrighty, so this bowl is a 14mm and this back one is a 17mm. If you have the same issue with me where they sent you the wrong gasket, but like I said, if you're just replacing these gaskets because they're leaking, you may just want to drop the whole exhaust and cut off these nuts and replace those too. So let's go ahead and take these bolts out. Alright, so I got those 3 bolts out and dropped that down. There's the old worthless gasket there. And as you can see, there is the ring in there that I'm going to be replacing today to seal this exhaust back up. Alright, so the next step is we want to remove that bolt, and then there's one over here that we need to remove. They are 13mm, so let's go and take those out. Alright, so we got those down. As you can see, this is pretty loose. So next, we need to go and remove those 2 bolts. Like I said, those are going to be pretty easy, even though they may be rusted up there. They've got the springs so they don't rust directly to the exhaust. Oh yeah, and don't forget to pull your O2 sensor wire down and out of there, so when this falls, it doesn't rip that. Alright, so those bolts are actually going to be a 12mm, so let's go ahead and take those out. Alright, so there's where the old gasket went like this, and the nose of it down. That was kind of cone shaped, so the cone is down. And look at that, that is shredded. We definitely need to replace that. And that probably happened like that due to the heat and me already once removing this, so let's go ahead and get those replaced. Alrighty guys, we got it in our vise. We're going to try a fine tip screwdriver, flathead. We're going to try to get right on in there. We're going to pop that out. So that's definitely squished. That's not going to do anything. Alright, now we're going to take our new gasket. This is a Molly from AutoZone. So we're going to go and put this right on in there. I'm going to set it in there. Now let's go ahead and put this back up.
Alright, and then we've got our Fill Pro gasket for up top here. So we're going to need to go ahead and install that. This was also from AutoZone as well. Let's go ahead and get that put in there. Alright, so we're going to set our Fill Pro gasket right in there. When we let it put it up, let's go ahead and put it up there. We're going to go ahead and lift it in. Now we're going to go ahead and tighten up our bolts here. Go and tighten these bolts. Make sure they're nice and tight. Move on to this one. Okay, I'm going to finish tightening those up. And then we'll hook it back up the catalytic converter. Alright, go and make sure, verify that you have the ring in there. And if you're replacing these bolts, make sure you get anti-seize on them to make the exhaust work a little bit easier in the future so they won't sit there and rust as bad. But let's go ahead and hook back up the catalytic converter once that ring's in place. Also, when you're tightening these down, just make sure you can't keep an even gap all the way around. But other than that, check all your bolts, make sure they're all tight before you call it done. We're going to go and feed our O2 sensor wire back up through here above the transmission. Let's go and feed that back up there. Let's go up top and plug that back in.
Alrighty, so for the reason of me making this video, when I went to replace the catalytic converter, I was under there cutting everything, did a whole bunch of work that I did not need to do. So it's just easier if you just drop the whole exhaust and deal with it outside from the car. Let me show you what I did with the old cat in order to get it out, where I ended up having to drop the whole thing anyway. Alright, so here's the old catalytic converter. As you can see, I had to cut all the way through both ends just to get this out. Thought I'd be able to get the bolts broken free, but not with it in the car, so had to drop the exhaust, made it 10 times easier. That's it for this video. I hope this helped you out. And if you guys haven't yet, go and make sure you check out that video that I did on diagnosing your catalytic converter. If you end up needing to replace yours in your car, you might want to check that video out first to make sure it's actually the catalytic converter. With that out of the way, before I let you go and make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, and also hit that like button, because it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, and it might help someone else out in the future as well. Other than that, have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next repair.